Have you ever felt confused, manipulated, or emotionally drained in a relationship? You're not alone and you're not crazy. But how do we untangle ourselves and heal? From charm and seduction to manipulation and emotional control, get ready to challenge stereotypes, validate your story, and understand the emotional dynamics that people often don't talk about. Welcome to Session and Secrets.
We're going to see that person that no empathy at all.
And the control comes from like not taking care of, like not taking into consideration your partner's right desires or wants or what the individuality.
Narcissistic personality in women has been hidden in mask.
What might draw someone into a relationship with someone with narcissistic traits?
A lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of like the poor esteem.
And to talk about all this, I'm here with my guest, Norma de la O. Welcome, Norma.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Norma.
I am a marriage and family therapist, a trauma-informed and relationship therapist, and I practice in the Bay Area.
And as a therapist, do you have experience working with personality disorders or relational trauma?
Yes, I do. Since I was practicing in school, I have extensive experience in relationships and domestic violence and also borderline personality disorders.
And what's a personality disorder?
Well, it can be defined by traits, right? So we need to make sure we know those traits. Lack of empathy. We're going to see that person that no empathy at all. Another one is like really fragile self-esteem. But also in the exterior is going to be the need of grandiosity, the need also recognition, and also being aggressive and controlling. So in order for a person to be diagnosed with personality disorder needs to meet these 5 traits out of 9 that is needed in the DSM.
Right. And today we're talking about something different.
Yes.
We usually hear about narcissistic men and we hardly ever hear about narcissistic women. But today we're peeling back and we're talking about what is a relationship with narcissistic women? What would that look like?
Well, when you ask me, it looks interesting, right? Because we're women and usually we don't talk about it, right? In society, it's not being recognized, as we can say. Why? Because narcissistic personality in women has been hidden in masks. Let's say 3 masks. One is that we are super empathetic, that we always take care of other people, so we don't see it. Another one is more seen as a drama, right? And it's accepted for us as a woman to always complain, always saying this and that. So we need to look at those masks, how we hide narcissistic personality, and we are always helping our kids, right, or our partners. So we don't see us narcissistic. We see us that we're taking care of them.
Right. So we change it into a positive, right? It comes as protective and nurturing, but in reality, it's coming from a place of control and power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How does it look? What's the difference between men and women with narcissistic traits?
Well, we can define it, right, as a little bit of culture component here. It's like men is always been recognized as the strongest one, or the one that is more aggressive, or has to be more aggressive because of this or because of that, right? Because he's based on the family. But woman is also hiding behind, right? So it's not saying it aloud can be, but controlling everything can be really effective, monitoring the emotions and needs of that person. But it seems like I take care of you, I love you so much. So that's why we hide it. But in reality, it's always controlling. Once that controlling in that person as well.
And the control comes from like not taking care of, like not taking into consideration your partner's right desires or wants or what the individuality, right? And so we might think like, oh, that's a really good mom, or that's a really caring mom, or very involved mom or parent. And when reality, it's coming from more of like narcissistic traits?
Yeah, more into the hiding part of controlling, right? So it seems more like loving. I will take care of you. I will choose your clothes. I will, make the lunch that I want you to eat, right? But it's caring, right? But what is the underneath of the action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Control,
But,
power.
yeah. And how is it, how are narcissistic traits different from full narcissism?
Well, answering that question, we need to kind of compare and contrast, right? Let's say traits of, personality disorder. And that when you have some traits, it's kind of like having the flu. You get it for like 2 or 3 days, you drink some tea, medicine, and it's gone, right? But when we're talking about personality, narcissistic personality disorder, it's kind of like the chronic immune system that it keeps coming and coming, and the whole year around, right? You cannot get well. So it's the intensity of the traits that are there and how long. It's kind of in the scale, right? Which one are heavier? The flu that is only like 2 or 3 days, and versus the chronic immune system that it will take you months, right? So we need to see in the scale.
Yeah, that is chronic, right?
Yes.
And so it's, I like how you're using the cold, like it would be narcissistic traits is a little bit, right? And we all have a little bit of narcissism,
yes,
right?
of course. Actually, like 20%, right, of ourselves, like 20 is a trait of narcissistic because we need it to survive, right? We need some control over our routine, over what we do. But when it's like in the scale, when it kind of passes more than 20% is when it becomes difficult to deal with, or it becomes damaging for that person or for that relationship in general.
Yeah. And what do you think, what does it look like to love someone with these traits?
That's a good question and a good one. It's like a roller coaster, right? You go excited, right? Or trying to be in this relationship or having this new adventure, right? With somebody that you love. And then you get a ticket, you jump into the roller coaster, and then you go into this app full intensity, full of love, emotions, like loving, fantasy, right? Like, oh my, I found my prince or my princess, right? And then it goes down. And then you scream out and you want to jump off, and nope, let's keep it going up and down. So that's how a relationship with a narcissistic person can look like, full of emotions. One day they love you, they super love you. Another day you are unworthy of their love. So that's how that scale is also 0 or 100%. They go to the extreme of loving you or hating you in the same moment in that roller coaster.
Yes. And roller coasters look fun because they're like only like 2 minutes, right? Like
Imagine.
if it's forever, if it's like, most of the time, no, I don't want to live in a roller coaster.
But imagine, right? Relationship of 20 years of being in the same dynamic, up and down. So that's what it is, so harmful.
Yeah, and that up and down, how does it affect your self-worth and your self-esteem and how you view yourself?
And the self-esteem, right? And the partner is like damaging, right? It's a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of like the poor esteem. It's like we lose our value, we lose our sense of who we are and how much do we value as a human being, because we kind of internalize the blame, or like, oh, maybe I deserve to be in this roller coaster because I'm screaming, I having all these emotions. Maybe I'm not strong enough, right? So we lose that sense of who we are when we are part of this relationship. Our self-esteem, it goes down. Like you can find it who you are. Right. So that's how much affect us.
Yeah, you get sucked into the chaos, right?
Yes.
And I mean, this is where codependency comes from, right? You lose yourself to appease someone, to please someone, and you lose yourself, and then like you said, 5 years, a year of this, then you start believing it's like you're lost in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
no way out. You can't see a way out.
There is no GPS that will take you because you don't know where you're going, right? So you lose that sense of like dreaming or where I'm going, I am here, what is my mission in life. There is no questions at all. Not the need to survive, not the need to like strive for something better because everything has been gone already.
Yeah. What might draw someone into a relationship with someone with narcissistic traits?
Uh, it's a connection and attachment, right? As a therapist, I have empathy, and sometimes they ask me, how you come that you have empathy for narcissistic personality? It's because we all been exposed to trauma. Right? If we live in a household where it was unpredictable, where it was a lot of abuse, where your parents might not be there, neglect you, and manage, how we're going to develop a healthy attachment, a secure attachment? It's impossible. So we develop avoidant attachment, insecure and disorganized attachment, where everything is based on fear, based on your wounds, so how you were treated as a little kid. So being in a narcissistic relationship, it feels like home. It's like, wow, this is familiar with me. I always been treated this way. They always scream me. They never believe me. I felt unworthy. I felt guilty. So when this person tell me that, I'm like, maybe yes, right? So we have that fragile self-esteem when it comes, and a narcissistic personality and empathetic people, right? We attract because narcissistic fits from empathetic people, from the loving and empaths. Some therapists are empaths.
We are all caretakers. Yes.
So caretakers, and we want to rescue people. Right, we want to save them. So this where it comes that connection? It's like a dance, right? Like a tango. Oh yeah, I found you. Let me help you. Let me teach you how to do this dance. That is exactly what happened in relationships. Empath and narcissistic attract each other because you have what I need, what I can develop, and then you have the power, the control. You look secure, and I don't. So they attract with each other.
Yeah. And then we find projects, right? Like to take care. And then that validates ourselves, right? Like, oh, I'm doing something good. I feel good. I feel I'm helping.
Yeah, right? Helping others. So I feel better inside of me.
There's a benefit. Like I feel better by helping others, right? But then we get into this toxic patterns of relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is where like trauma bonding comes.
Yes.
Right?
Why? Because we want to rescue, right? So we're talking about like trauma, relational trauma, and it's like a cheetah and a zebra, right? Enjoying in the environment. The zebra is happy. The cheetah needs to survive. Is looking for their food. But what happened when they start chasing the zebra? So the zebra start developing these cortisol hormones to survive, dopamine, right? That pleasure of like, okay, let me get out of here, right? But it becomes a cycle of that trauma, cycle of what is always experienced. And that similar situation happen in humans. We need that cycle. We need that the body remembers how was growing up, right? So we all kind of feel that need for cortisol hormones, the need for dopamine, for the pleasure. And we all know is that, okay, it comes from being in an unstable relationship, right? Being in an abusive, controlling. So that is familiar. And that's why we connect, not with a person itself, but with a cycle of how you make me feel. That's what I need. That's what my soul needs, right? That guilt, that pressure, that abuse.
Yeah. Or sometimes we don't, even emotional neglect, right? Like not having that safety of your parents' love and care or losing it, right? Then it becomes emotional neglect. And because sometimes people don't recognize it. They'll say, oh, no, I didn't experience abuse. My parents didn't fight. No one abused each other. But But then it's also emotional neglect. If you didn't get the love and the care you needed from your parent, then
Yeah.
that's emotional neglect. And then what are we doing? We're like seeking that love and like that dopamine, that excitement, that
Yes. It's true.
adrenaline, the cortisol and the adrenaline, and that seems so exciting.
Yeah. And what happened is like when after you went through all that, develop kind of more like avoidant attachment. What happened is you find a person who loves you, who can give you everything, right? More into that secure attachment. You're like, no way. I cannot survive here with you. You are way
Mhm.
too much for me because my body is not used to that.
Yeah. Or he's too
Right.
or he's too nice, or she's too nice,
Yes,
right?
right. It's like, no, I want the roller coaster. I don't want
I want
the
the
little
fun
horses,
one.
right? I don't want another ride that is easy and peaceful because what I've been exposed my whole life is the roller coaster feelings, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
And I was reading an article or a book, and it said like even in evolutionary psychology, right? They say we can walk into the room and we can scan the room, and then we'll pinpoint the people that we're attracted to, and it replicates that those people are like,
Yes.
if I'm what you said, like I'm looking for avoidant attachment or disorganized attachment because my attachment is not
Yes.
secure. So even unconsciously, like our body, I don't know,
It's
can detect the
yes.
hormones or something. It can detect,
Yeah.
and we're attracted just by looking at them, and we just replicate exactly what you say, the dynamic that we lived
Yes.
in our childhood.
Because it's familiar, right? So it's like
Mhm.
how we can, like for example, Spanish, right? You grew up learning speaking Spanish, so hey, let me look for another person who speaks Spanish, all right, or English. So it's the same dynamic. Or bodies, it's like that wisdom that carry, right? Not from now, but from childhood, what they were exposed to, so that we're going to replicate and we're going to attract the same dynamics because it feels comfortable in our bodies as well.
Mhm. What do you think are some red flags that people often miss or disregard?
Um, Flashlighting, right? That is more about like how they make us feel, right? That everything, well, you are exaggerating or you are too sensitive, right? That it can become with the empathetic people, right? We're too much about emotions and we're so intuitive, right? That we can do it. But it's like, not there, right? So that is one of those things, right? Projection, right? It's another one, red flags that can be, or as well, like I can become really intuitive, really connected emotionally too fast, too
Mhm.
soon, like right there, emotionally or sexually, right? They
Mhm.
love you right away. They make you believe that is you are the best person ever, right? But also it comes the other one that it makes you feel like too sensitive right away, and then they use the arguments, right? In an argument they use it like, okay, slow down, right? But they make it or use it against you, right? So those are kind of red flags that you don't see it or you don't identify because everything is magical at that moment,
Yeah.
right? Or they start kind of pushing you your boundaries slowly, well, or changing who you are. Well, maybe you look better in the, I don't know, in a blue color, right, dress. Or, oh, what about you change your earrings? What about you change your hair? It's slow and hiding, but it start like a right there, but we don't see it because we're so in love with a person,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. So the term of love bombing, right? Like the
Yes.
romance and the fairy tale and the
Yeah.
I love yous, I want to marry you, and here's like
Yes. Yeah, because they come with all these, oh, I'm like, okay, it
yeah.
feels great, right?
Yeah, of
I mean,
course it feels great. Who wouldn't want that? To hear all
yeah,
that.
who doesn't want that type of relationship,
Right.
right?
But
So,
but
yeah.
but it's not consistent, right? It has
Yes.
that and pain
Yeah.
and yeah, a lot of pain and hurt, and so
Guilt as well
yes,
and
yes,
control
yeah.
right there.
And women, narcissistic women can use, like you said, sex to manipulate, to punish, to entice, to keep control
Yeah.
too, and And use it, for power and control.
I have a headache, right? For example, right? So yeah, a woman tends to use that as a way of controlling that relationship, right? Or make them feel also guilty, the partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are some of the red flags that we like rationalize, like that we make excuses for?
I guess it's the one that, I say is like, oh, maybe I was too sensitive, right? When we've
Mm.
been like, no, I don't like it, right? So it's like, oh, maybe it was my fault. Or when they are super aggressive and control it, well, maybe because I made a mistake. I am imperfect, it's my fault. And we try to like look for that type of responses or how justify their behavior. It is my fault because basic and 99% of the cases that I have is like, well, because I was imperfect or I made mistakes, Norma. I made too much mistakes, so I deserve that treatment. So we kind of tend to justify and how we were treated when we were kids, right? Like, well, my parents never loved me, so I must not be unworthy of any
Mhm.
love, any support. I mean, I think it's okay, Norma.
Yeah.
So those are the
What are some of the things your clients have shared when it comes to, oh, I made some mistakes?
it's more like, well, I should be more prepared, right, with a lunch, or I should know better that he likes or she likes the bed making in that right way, right? Or I should have know better, like to buy this type of clothes, or should I pick up the kids at the right time, right? Or I shouldn't talk to people is another issue that comes. They isolate themselves, right? Because,
Mhm.
well, you were talking to that person because you were like flirting with them. I
Mhm.
shouldn't talk to them, Norma. I should be at home always doing my work,
Mhm.
right? So those are some of the examples that they justify the behavior
Yeah.
from that.
And I think when it comes to men, right, it is a lot more like aggressive and maybe coming more assertive. But when it comes to
Yes.
women, I think people have a hard time recognizing, like partners have a hard time recognizing it because
Yes.
they don't know, is it coming from like, oh, she just likes,
Yeah.
things to be done a certain way, right?
Yes.
Or they,
Yeah.
I think partners come up with excuses too,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, she's she
Cleaning the
likes
house,
clean, yeah,
right? Yeah.
she likes everything perfect, right?
Yeah. Or I made mistakes, right? I left the shoes in the wrong place, or
Yes.
those little things when it comes to that. But it's controlling, or it's like you had to be perfect, right?
Yes.
But never is enough. Never is gonna be enough
Yeah.
for the other partner. If it is one little thing, the next day is gonna be something different. So
So I think that would make the difference, right? To kind of identify it, like if nothing is ever, if the pole keeps moving,
yeah.
right? Like today this needs to be done, and tomorrow this and this, and then that.
Yeah, never ending, right? The roller
Uh-huh.
coaster continue over and
Yes.
over because it's never enough for them. And
Mhm.
it's like we know that they lack empathy. So they will never put it in your shoes. For example, what is it like for you to work 9 or 10 hours and coming home all tired, right? Exhausted. They don't have that empathy. So they
Mhm.
are also less likely to come into therapy and ask for support because they feel that you are the one to be blamed of. I'm
Mhm.
perfect. I don't
Yeah.
have any problems at all. Right. So you are the one who needs to work on yourself. You're the one who needs to be perfect or clean. So,
Mhm.
so, but it's never enough for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had clients that I've like sense like, oh, I sense,
Yeah.
narcissism. And then I tell them, maybe what's to
Yeah.
bring stuff to their awareness, and they just can't. And when I say, well, this is how I think you're contributing to this, right? To this
Yeah.
dynamic, they'll say, I disagree. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, yes, that meets this is exactly what
Right?
this is confirmation.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they had this lack of how would you say, like being open to
Blind, just
accept criticism,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like nope. you will never tell them nothing because they are the ones who is running the show, right? So there is not a space for them.
Yeah. And when it comes to mothers, right, sometimes there's a lot of enmeshment with mothers with narcissistic traits.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yes, because, well, especially mothers, right? They tend to use their kids, and it's a triangulation that we were talking about. Is mainly like bring somebody else into the relationship to make you feel more powerful. So, well, my daughter is supporting me, I must be okay, right? So they're controlling their daughter to enter into that relationship between partners. So now it's a triangulation, like, well, she's supporting me, so I had a power. And then the other partner is like, oh, okay, so I might be wrong, right? So it's always back and forth. Or like projecting, right? Projecting their anger, their insecurity, but at the same time, making you feel bad about how you make them feel bad, right? So it's a never ending situation.
Yeah. And yes, like, that, right? Like telling your kids the problems between you and your partner.
Yes, right.
That would be the triangle where you're enlisting them, like you said, for reinforcement so that the other person can feel like it's their fault.
But it's, getting control over the family or over the relationships, right? So it's like they control the whole dynamic instead of connection, right? So we are losing connection versus like the control that they wanted. But we see it as a society as connection, right? I'm super connected with my daughter, that's why. Right. So it's always full of mask and hiding ourselves. And that's straight.
And what are some of like the first steps that people can take in order to free themselves from this dynamics?
It is really hard, but not impossible, right? It's kind of like in the roller coaster. You want to jump off or you want to finish up the ride, right? It can be possible. Change can be possible, but you got to want it, right? It's like it's kind of like the realization like nobody can save anything, right? I cannot rescue anybody. I'm not in charge. I don't have to do anything for my partner, right? But it takes, I say, as a therapist and what I've been working with my clients and it work, I can recommend like first humility, right? We need to be humble to understand that we make mistakes and this relationship didn't work, so I can move forward, right? Unconditional love for ourselves is needed in order for us to say, do I love myself? If I love myself, do I want to be in this type of relationship or I just want to jump off, say, nope, I don't deserve this, right? So it's also that, and forgiveness. Forgiveness for that other person can be forgiveness for yourself as well, because we blame ourselves way too much, 100%, even more sometimes, that I got stuck in the relationship because I deserve it or because I was a bad person. So it's that forgiveness piece, first with ourselves and second with all these people that hurt us, right? And having that empathy and say, I forgive you not because you deserve, not because of this, but because I want to free myself, right? So it's a choice that we all have, and be more connected with ourselves, being honest, right? As we say, we're in a magical relationship fantasy. In order for us to change, we need to see the reality. And the reality, even though it hurts us, is full of pain, it is not worth it. It is an unhealthy relationship that is draining me. So we had to go into that and, connecting with faith, right? Their faith and some of my clients is a big piece, right? So it's always an option as well. Connecting with their belief system because they've been isolated for so long that they lost who they were, their connection, their values. So that's how I will.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you can get out of the roller coaster.
Yes,
I would say
right.
Smooth ride. Live the life you want to live, and if that's exiting relationships, forgiving people, letting go, it's fine. You can. There's always a new day and to start a new chapter.
New chapter, right? We don't have to be carrying all the pain, all the hurt, guilt, shame, way too much in our shoulders, right? Life is already difficult. Why we want to carry more weight in ourselves? So it's time for us to free ourselves and and live happy. Finding our mission in life. What do I came here? Why? How do I want to live my life? Out of this relationship? Do I deserve this relationship? Those are some of the questions that we need to start asking ourselves in
Okay.
order for us to come back to who we are internally.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Norma, for all this knowledge. And it was a pleasure having you.
Oh, my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Female narcissism is more relational and covert, making it harder to identify and often more confusing for partners. Narcissistic abuse starts very subtle, especially when it hides behind charm or softness. Healing starts with truth, boundaries, and reclaiming your power. We all deserve a healthy relationship. You deserve to be valued, to have honesty, loyalty, safe, and mutual love. Thank you for watching.